Influence is the critical skill to be a phenomenal real estate agent. Whether or not you're working with a buyer to get them to increase their offer, or you're working with a seller to actually get them a great sale price, everything that you do makes a massive difference. What you've got to learn is how to present information in such a way that people can not only understand it, but also too they can accept it and then go and do something with it. Let's think about what we do inside of the Set Up to Sell meeting. We set these benchmarks around what they should receive at day 7, day 14, day 21, day 28, when it comes down to inquiries, inspections, second appointments, changes to terms and offers. And when you think about it, we're going to look at, say, day 14, that we would expect 20 inquiries since day 1, 20 inspections, maybe 2 second appointments, maybe 2 terms, maybe an offer by that point. And so we talk about that in the Set Up to Sell meeting, but for some reason, that's never spoken to the seller about ever again. What would actually happen if on the vendor report, we actually had those numbers again, but this time we showed it as a fraction. So we're now at day 14 of the campaign. You've received 10 inquiries when you should have got 20. You've had 5 inspections when you should have had 20. You've had 1 second appointment, but 0 requested terms and 0 offers. When you now start to see that ultimately you've got this number that it should have been out of, then you go, hey, what do I actually do now? Because what do we need to do, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, to make sure that we not only hit the numbers, but then also, most importantly, actually get you to sold? And this is a great conversation. When you go and have a look at what's happening in terms of interest rates, let's say, for example, that you're on a $1 million home loan. A change of 1% is equal to about $600 per month. If we're going to get a 0.5% change in the rate cut, then that would actually mean that's about $300 a month. Divide that by 4, that's about $80 a week. Now, ultimately, a change of 0.5% is about equal to around a 4 to 5% increase in borrowing capacity. That means that on a $1 million property, that maybe they can spend up to $1,050,000. So that is not going to get you an extra 8, 9, or 10 buyers all of a sudden turning up next Saturday. What we have realized is that when interest rates are going up, what actually happens is that everyone wants to get into the market. The reason for it is that there's strong capital growth. A $1 million property in January is all of a sudden a $1.4 million property by the time we get to December. Everyone was going to try and get a home loan because they wanted to lock in the interest rate of the day. But what we know is that when interest rates decline, and we've seen this inside of New Zealand, there's a lot of sellers actually lock in on price, and a lot of buyers just hold back from buying because they're ultimately waiting for better value. The most important conversation is that no one wants to rush into the market because ultimately they're waiting to see how things actually settle. And what we realize is that the majority of Australians have actually spent all the money in their savings accounts and have maxed all their redraws on their home loans. So that's why it's critically important to understand that there's usually about a 6-month gap from an interest rate decrease to when you start to see a change in buyer behavior and buyer activity. How you present that information, using key graphs, for example, like Louis Christopher's boom and bust report, which goes to show you his projection on what's going to happen on all the major states across Australia, that can actually help you to be able to put a better quality case forward to your seller about why they need to adjust their asking price, or ultimately to a buyer on why they need to improve their position because of the way you go to present your information. Become phenomenal at influence. Use third parties, show great quality case studies, show the facts about why things are the way they are, and then give your owners the exact suggestions on what they need to do next in order to be able to get to the position that they get to sold and they maximize that sale price.